Coach, roll tide. It's great to have you with us. And also, can you believe this is now year 11 for you in Tuscaloosa? Roll tide.
And it's crazy. Roll Tide there, Roger. But yeah, crazy, man. Time flies. So feels like just yesterday that we got here. But now I'm certainly blessed and excited about the 11th season here at Alabama.
Well, it's about to begin coming up Thursday night in Ruston against Louisiana Tech. And of course, there's a very short training window for you and the coaching staff to get to work with your players. But what have the last few weeks been like here on campus getting your team ready for the start of the season?
Yeah, it's been an awesome preseason, and it's so important that players come in fit and sharp, because there's not a lot of turnaround time. I think we reported on the 29th of July, had our first game against Clemson like 5 days later, and so not a lot of time to prepare. But for us, thankfully, the team came in fit. From day one, they looked ready to go. So we had a couple of exhibition games, and I think we're in a good spot heading into the first game against Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, what'd you like most from what you saw against Clemson, also against Florida State?
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most excited about is just our mentality, our willingness to battle, compete, and fight. We purposely set up a couple really tough preseason games, to challenge us and stretch us. For us, that was more valuable than playing games that we're going to win by 5 goals. It's like, no, we got to find out who we are right out of the gate. And so, for us, we proved that we're willing to fight and compete and battle and do all the little things that go a long ways. I think we're more athletic than we've been in the past. Added a couple players to the group that add some athleticism, especially into the back line. We're really excited about what we've seen so far, but also know that we still got a long way to go.
Mentioned it's your 11th year here at Alabama. Time flies. It also kind of blows my mind that this is now year 4 for Gianna Paul wearing the crimson and white. Can this really be her senior season?
Crazy, crazy. So yeah, hoping maybe the NCAA lets her stay here a couple more years, but no, Gianna's been fantastic. I think she's um, I'm excited to see what she can do this year. I mean, she's really developed into a heck of a soccer player, and we're going to certainly be leaning on her quite a bit. But I think she's ready to carry the load, and I'm excited to see what she can do.
We'll start with her in the forward position as we kind of go through every position on this team. What do you like up top about the Crimson Tide and the attack?
Yeah, I think we've got some serious kind of athleticism, and we're quite dynamic. Between Gianna Paul, Maddie Podolsky if she's playing up top or on the wing, Leah Cundy, Ashley Roney, Cami Silva. Some good athletes, some fast players, good 1v1. Players that can get behind and stretch an opposing back line. So I think our front three are as scary as any front three in the country. I mean, it's a pretty dynamic front line, that's for sure.
How important was the World Cup experience that Maddie Podolsky got to have last fall?
Yeah, I think it was good. Without question. I mean, I think it hurt us a little bit in a sense that, and probably hurt her freshman year here in terms of, not a lot of consistency. She was kind of in and out. I think she went to a camp in, kind of, midway through the preseason last year, and probably kind of threw her off a little bit, and then for her to leave kind of beginning of the SEC part of the schedule. So it wasn't great for us last year, but I think at the end it's going to pay off down the road. I mean, just that kind of experience, what she gained from that, certainly makes her a better player, which in turn makes our team a better team. But it'd be nice to have Maddie, for the entire year this year, and I think she's ready to have an excellent year as well.
And another name you mentioned there, Ashley Roney. I know fans didn't get to see her on the pitch last season dealing with that injury, but what have you seen from the work she's done to get ready for this season, her
Yeah,
first year getting to play?
similar to some of those other players I mentioned, very good athlete. She's got pace, so she's able to stretch back lines. We can put balls in behind, and then very good in the air. So I think she'll be able to get on the end of service, on the back post, and she'll be able to get her head on some whether it's set pieces or in the run of play. I think she's going to score some goals with her head. But just gives us another weapon out there. I think we've got some depth, in that front line as well. So I'm excited for Ash. She's battled some injuries early on, but in the spring she was you're slowly kind of starting to see her come into form, and then she came in this fall and she's been flying. She was quite good against Clemson.
Then some familiar names in the midfield. Who's really making things happen there?
Yeah, got almost too many options, if that's such a thing, But Nadia Ramadan, of course, so creative and clever and good on the ball, and strong and powerful. So many good qualities about Nadia, and we've experimented a little bit with Maddie Podolsky as an attacking midfielder, and she causes a lot of problems just her athleticism and her kind of scrappiness and feistiness. She's a handful in there. Kylie Kukan, she'll be entering her sophomore year, had a very solid freshman year, and I think she's going to continue to keep getting better and better. So, I think the three of them, Izzy Smith is another one who sometimes is playing in the attacking role, sometimes as a defensive midfielder. Melina Rabimbis, who's finally healthy. You saw glimpses of her in the last fall, but she was really, just kind of a shell of herself last fall, coming back from injury and not fit, not sharp. But she had the entire spring to get there, and then over the summer, she put a tremendous amount of work in the summer. So I think she's at 100% now, and I think she's going to be quite good for us as well. So a lot of good options, and that's not even counting the two freshmen we have. In Paige Thompson and Olivia Belcher. They're both mid-year enrollees, so we had them in the spring. But they're going to be quite good too. So I think we've got kind of a crowded midfield, which is a good problem.
Then how about on the back line with the defenders who's still hunting the ball, really that style of Alabama soccer
Yeah,
we've grown used
yeah.
to the last
So
few years?
back line, I think we're healthier and more athletic than we were a year ago. So um, I guess maybe starting with Mason Smith, who saw a lot of time last year as a freshman, and then she tore her ACL kind of midway through the year against, or kind of maybe towards the end of the year against Texas A&M. But she's had an incredible comeback. She looks quite good, so she'll be back in the back line. We added a transfer, Avery Brown from Ole Miss, who was a former SEC freshman, all freshman team. Very good player, but she's got size and speed and strength, athleticism. I mean, she's the real deal. So I'm super excited about her. Callie Brewer is coming into her own. I mean, you saw glimpses of her last year coming off the bench, and she's looked quite good. She had a good spring and has looked good so far. Kennedy Garcia is another one. A converted forward that we've moved to the back. That she's athletic and scrappy and feisty and tough and physical. Kirsten McDonald, is another one that has size and strength and athleticism. So we've got a lot of options. There's a couple too that I'm probably missing here, but I think a lot of good options in the back, similar to what I said in the midfield and up top. I mean, we've got probably more depth than I've ever seen from an Alabama team.
And does that extend to the goalkeeper position as well?
Yeah, yep. I mean, Coralie, who's a two-year starter for us. You had Ellie, who started some games last year, and then Maddie Munguia, who was a freshman last year that we had high hopes for, but she had a torn hip labrum, and so she did not get to play. But she's back and healthy. So I think there's certainly competition in that spot, and I don't know, just comfort in knowing that whoever we go with there, I think is a good option. So. I'm excited about this group. I think a lot of talent and a lot of depth for sure.
And then what do you like about the schedule and how it opens up? Obviously, Thursday night against Louisiana Tech on the road, but then two really good matches coming up in Tuscaloosa, Chattanooga on Sunday, and then the University of Michigan coming to town next Thursday.
Yeah, I guess maybe starting with preseason. We scheduled two very difficult games so that we could kind of learn about ourselves and stretch ourselves and push ourselves. Clemson, right out of the gate, they're 2 years removed from being in a Final Four. Very, very good side. Went down to Clemson and tied 2-2. Pretty even game. They had moments in the game where they were better, and we had some stretches when we were better. But overall, I thought it was a fair result. Florida State, I thought we played quite well for about 25, 30 minutes. They are probably the most athletic team I've ever played against. They are so darn athletic and quite good. I mean, each player on their team is not just athletic, but they're good soccer players. So that really pushed us. We conceded about 25 or 30 minutes into that game and gave away a few more, but ended up losing the game 4-1. But I walked away not content by any means, but certainly felt good about knowing that, gosh, you know what, we competed and fought for 90 minutes, and I think if we can do that against most teams, I think we're going to be successful. Florida State was just kind of a different animal. but I don't think there's too many teams like that out there. Um, but we'll open up at Louisiana Tech, and by no means is it going to be an easy game, but obviously they're not Florida State. But we saw them last year, as did we see Tennessee Chattanooga as well, and so we're familiar with both those groups. I know they're both going to be difficult games, but they're games I believe that we're going into those expecting to have good results in those games.
Well, we look forward to it. The start of the season is here for Alabama athletics, beginning with the Crimson Tide soccer team coming up on Thursday night. Coach, just safe travels coming up to Ruston, and we can't wait to have you back in Tuscaloosa for those early season matches. And then SEC play, everything's coming up this fall for the Crimson Tide. Just thank you for the time. We look forward to catching up with you again. Roll Tide.
Awesome, Roger. Appreciate you. Roll Tide.